and then is so good that it played games that no human has ever played before. And that is the signal in all of the noise. That apply that idea to everything, and everything changes.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't take what we think the world is, our construct of physics or biology or genetic sciences. It doesn't do any of that. It does what you said. It goes to battle with itself and has a gazillion permutations and combinations of testing, and it comes up with truths, which is astonishing.
Hey guys, welcome to Everyday Finance, Ethereum's captivating fractal structure, which is emulating gold's meteoric rise from 2019 to 2024, seems to be laying the groundwork for a historic price spike. According to analysts like Raoul Pal and Crypto Eagles, ETH's chart is showing a 5-point pattern that is very similar to the formation gold used before it soared from about $2,100 to over $3,400. A possible breakout is indicated by Ethereum's current structure, which includes bouncing from a low of about $1,600, rounding into a base, and currently testing critical resistance at about $3,500. An additional factor fueling the fire is a historical echo from Ethereum's own past. From 2016 to 2017, ETH surged over 1,000% to about $1,400, and the current state of the market bears a striking resemblance to that period. The crucial distinction: with the support of scaling solutions, institutional-grade fundamentals, and ecosystem expansion, Ethereum now operates in a much bigger and more established market. The bullish setup gets stronger as institutional capital shifts back into Ethereum, and Solana's hype fades. Analysts predict a parabolic move towards $5,000 to $6,000 if momentum persists, and ETH decisively overcomes resistance. This would turn Ethereum from a smart contract platform into one of the most lucrative digital assets of this cycle.
And also, adding to that, there's something I've bookmarked to go back to when I'm going to write GMI in a couple of weeks' time is there is now increasing evidence that AI is coming up with a unique thought, unique things, unique inventions, unique understandings that humans have never had. And this moves on from Alessandro's point, is that we only have the data that we have so far, right? The whole of the internet and other bits and pieces, as you said, the IoT and all the other things that we've got. But as soon as it starts doing its own thought discovery, it becomes infinite, which is this kind of self-learning model that I think we're going to see a lot more of in ways that we don't understand, which is the step to ASI. Because it needs to figure out a bunch of stuff that we don't know. And we're seeing it. I think it'll come out of the biology, chemistry space first.
Yeah. And on that, go and check out, everyone should go and check out Google DeepMind's Alpha Evolve that they were talking about, I think just last week. They've been running it for a year. But they only spoke about it last week. Alpha Evolve, and essentially they got the Gemini models to think about the kinds of algorithms involved in the training and inferencing of the Gemini models, and it did all this cool stuff that basically will make its own training more efficient, right? So one of the things it did was improve something called the Strassen algorithm, which is an algorithm that's been used for matrices calculations for like 50 years, right? This thing's been relied on for 50, 60 years. It started thinking about it, found an improved version, and in so doing has made the training of its own next iteration more efficient. And again, this taps back to exactly what I'm thinking about. So talking about earlier, so you now have AIs thinking about how can I deliver more intelligence value per unit energy, right? And that's just going to cycle round and round and round. Now you have an iterating, self-improving cycle where AI is going to improve AI, is going to improve AI, is going to improve AI. And until you cycle to incredible intelligence output per unit energy.
Because its purpose essentially is to increase intelligence per unit energy.
Right.
So its job is to squeeze the lemon as hard as possible and then try and add new technologies to increase the size of the lemon, essentially.
Yeah. And it's it's called Alpha Evolve because it's using evolutionary principles. Like it's throwing out loads of different solutions and letting them do combat. And it's kind of a Darwinian competition of which solution kind of wins. Do you know what I mean? And all of that is to enhance energy efficiency, which is basically what evolution is. Evolution's like this huge, grand competition for survival, for efficient use of resources.
And this goes back to what got me into this whole thing in the beginning was AlphaGo, whatever version it was, when basically it learned how to play Go, extrapolate all the other noise. This bloody thing learned how to play Go by teaching itself, never saw a human game. It taught itself the rules and then beat every single human in existence. And it did that all in a week or something stupid. And what people didn't realize, they're like, oh, we've just taught a computer to play a game. No. It taught itself. And then is so good that it played games that no human has ever played before. And that is the signal in all of the noise. Apply that idea to everything, and everything changes.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't take what we think the world is, our construct of physics or biology or genetic sciences. It doesn't do any of that. It does what you said. It goes to battle with itself and has a gazillion permutations and combinations of testing, and it comes up with truths, which is astonishing.
Since Donald Trump won the presidency, Bitcoin has experienced a startling 60% increase, turning political sentiment into price action. By adopting a pro-crypto stance, the former president has reversed regulatory obstacles that previous administrations had imposed on the digital asset market. The establishment of a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve is one of the most significant developments in the market, as it suggests that government support for Bitcoin may eventually result in direct government accumulation of the cryptocurrency. Trump's team has also appointed crypto-native staff, such as a former head of a blockchain consultancy, to lead the SEC, which many believe will revolutionize regulatory clarity. The Labor Department made another significant reversal when it decided to remove earlier guidelines that dissuaded employers from offering cryptocurrency options in 401k retirement plans. Although it was not legally binding, that previous policy cast doubt on the incorporation of cryptocurrency into traditional retirement plans. Now the barrier has been lifted, over $8.9 trillion in 401k assets could be involved. Even a cautious 1% allocation could generate a surge in demand that could propel Bitcoin to new heights. It's possible that Trump's crypto-forward policies are structurally altering Bitcoin's legitimacy, accessibility, and uptake in the American financial system, in addition to changing public perception.
I was just thinking about when you talk about this, I try and have a construct of how not to mid-curve all of this. And I see so many people, and it's somewhere between the left and right is like God is in the machine, or it's like everything is magic. There's something that keeps you on the right path and doesn't get you involved in, right now we can't get enough compute clusters. There's not enough energy. There's not enough this. It can't do that. Do you remember, David, it was only a year ago that people were saying stochastic parrots, these things just predicting the next token. So wildly wrong. Everybody's wildly wrong. Journalists don't get it. Nobody gets it. Governments don't get it. People just don't understand what this is. And I just try and keep that nice distribution curve and try and stay left curve and assume that meets the right.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a frustrating thing. It's also a beautiful thing for us for the time being, because the outsized disadvantage from being a person that gets it at the moment is huge. You know what I mean? Like if you want to be selfish about it, being someone who really understands what we're on the cusp of and is capable of, just grasping that and of orienting yourself inside these exponentials is a huge advantage as an investor, but also just as a human being who's facing the next 5, 10, 15 years, because there's going to be a profound future shock for humanity across the next sort of decade to 5, 10, 15 years. It's going to be an incredibly disorienting time to be alive. And we will be too, but a little less so, right? Because we commune here every month. We talk about all this stuff. We sound insane to the outside world, but month by month by month, we're sounding less insane. Okay. I mean, I go back to like another thing to go and check out this month. Go and look at Mustafa Suleyman, the co-founder of DeepMind. Now he's at Microsoft AI, talking about, I want to turn Copilot into everyone's 24/7 emotional companion. We're doing tons of work on humor, on empathy, on understanding, because what people need to understand is that billions of people are going to have like a close relationship with this kind of AI. This is something we've been talking about for years inside the Exponentialist. I was talking about it for years before that. As I always say, people would laugh me out the door. Like when I would go into organizations and say, people are going to have meaningful conversations with AIs. We're there now. That's not even new anymore. But still, most people don't get that is what is coming. And I'm close to someone close to Mustafa inside Microsoft AI in London. And he's like, it's all he thinks about 24/7. He just wants to build the ultimate AI companion guide philosopher that is just in your pocket, in your life, all the time.
Institutional momentum is starting to realign as digital assets mature, with both Bitcoin and Ethereum seeing a resurgence in popularity. Raoul Pal draws attention to a significant development: the silent rise of a sizable institutional Ethereum staking platform, which enables conventional players to access ETH's yield-generating mechanisms without requiring direct custody. This enhances Ethereum's value proposition by making it more than just a decentralized platform. It is now a bond-like yield-bearing asset that is acceptable to sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, and family offices. As this is going on, Bitcoin's status as digital gold is being reinforced, particularly in view of BlackRock's recent support. In light of fiat devaluation and global macro uncertainty, their most recent institutional portfolio guidance indicates that a 1% to 2% allocation to Bitcoin is not only reasonable, but also prudent. In addition to Trump's administration's regulatory approvals, institutions now encounter fewer systemic obstacles to entry. A significant turning point in the development of cryptocurrency from a fringe innovation to a mainstay of the portfolio has been reached with the convergence of Ethereum into institutional DeFi infrastructure and Bitcoin into sovereign-level assets. Increased capital inflow and network activity pave the way for faster adoption in the second half of 2025 and beyond.